Do it.
10 years later, at age 28, Jackie finished her high school diploma.
When I found out that I was pregnant, I know that I had to do something for myself if I wanted to make her a better person and provide a better life for her. My family never stopped pushing for me to be better because they knew what I could become and who I could become as a person. My support team is amazing. The educational director, my sister, and even my 7-year-old daughter has just been more than the support that I could ask for. I've been given an opportunity, and I'm just thankful for it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America. Welcome to Ticket Weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hello and welcome into the Daily Nebraskan show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. I'm Ben Droz, one of the sports writers at the Daily Nebraskan, and I'm joined here, like every Tuesday night, by the senior sports editor, Joseph Meyer. Joseph, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing fantastic. It's been about a week and a half since I've been on. We had spring break last week, and I kind of miss being able to share my thoughts every night, because I felt like I needed to get some things off my chest this last week, and I had no outlet to do it. Outlet to do it. It was a busy week. It was probably the worst week to have no radio show in the history of our show, which is not a long history.
No.
But probably the worst week, the busiest week yet that we've had, I'd say.
Yeah, definitely. It was, man, it was definitely, it was a week. It was a week.
I was trying to enjoy myself at the beach, and just too much breaking news all over the place from the NFL, which we'll cover later on tonight in our second segment, to, the Trev Alberts stuff, and, how are the coaches going to respond to that? Matt Rule's response to that, which we're going to cover in our first segment. And, spring practice is coming up, and Nebraska men's and women's basketball, are going dancing, and Nebraska men's basketball is in the tournament and making a run. And, Keisei Tominaga is national news now. What a week.
National news. Yeah.
He got 8 or 9 minutes on the Pat McAfee show this morning. I saw Kendrick Perkins, which, by the way, get him off my TV screen.
I know. Nobody wants to.
Just terrible sports opinions. I'm sure he has a great knowledge of the game of basketball, but just let's keep it off Nebraska. He was talking about Tominaga this morning.
Yeah.
Those are two worlds I never thought I'd see collide.
Honestly. Yeah.
Did you get to watch any of the first 4 games tonight?
No, I was busy.
You were busy working.
I saw Colorado State won.
Yeah. We need to have a discussion with the committee, because Virginia, this was the most predictable outcome ever. I was on this all week. Colorado State should not have been a 10 seed. Should not have been a first 4 team. Colorado State is a very, very good team, and they put them against I think, in my opinion, the only team in the bracket that does not deserve to be there, in Virginia. Virginia was the last bubble team I took. I watched almost the entire North Carolina State Virginia game last week in the ACC tournament. Virginia's not good at basketball, and they showed that tonight. And they lost. They got North Carolina State tied it up at the buzzer with a deep 3, and then went on to win the ACC tournament and get into the dance. That's a team that's hot. Virginia, an ultimate collapse in that game. Doesn't foul up 3 with 4 seconds left. Didn't deserve to be in the tournament. I'm sorry. And tonight, they proved why they didn't deserve to be in the tournament. Got stomped by Colorado State, who is going to beat Texas. That's the next matchup here. I'm looking at the bracket. They're beating Texas on Thursday. I believe it's Thursday. They're beating Texas. They might beat Tennessee. I really like Colorado State. So, tough draw for Virginia. Don't feel bad for them. What are you doing in the tournament? Selection committee's got to figure it out there.
Man, it's weird. Honestly.
Did you have any other issues with the bracket? Kind of a busy day for us. You had the breaking news. We kind of knew it was coming, but breaking news that Nebraska men's basketball was finally selected. Yeah. You covered that story for us. You get to any other storylines that you liked from the tournament?
Man,
From finally getting that bracket.
There's so many matchups that I'm excited about. There's just like, I love it. I'm super excited. For the first one that comes to mind is we're probably gonna get Creighton, Tennessee. I'm excited about that one.
I've got Creighton in the Final Four.
Really?
I do. I think it's a really weak region, especially now that Kansas is really struggling with injuries.
Yeah.
And Tennessee and Purdue have not shown that they can do it in the tournament before, and Creighton has.
That's true. But Tennessee is so talented.
They are.
That's
Dalton Connect. I mean, to have Zach Edey and Dalton Connect in the same region is incredible.
Yeah.
But I love it.
Oh yeah.
I don't think either of them will be in the Final Four. That's my hot take. But other than that, I didn't have any big problems with the tournament.
I was really thinking Nebraska would get top 7 seed.
I think they would have beat Illinois. They would have had a great chance at like a 6 seed.
Which
is really unfortunate for them.
Yeah, if they would have beat Illinois, they would have probably been, I think, top 6 probably.
Because Wisconsin improved their seed line quite a bit.
Dramatically.
Because I think they were around a 7, and then they make a run to the Big Ten Tournament Championship. Now they're a 5. They get matched up with James Madison in the Pardon My Take Bowl, which is going to be awesome. James Madison versus Wisconsin. And then right above it, Nebraska, Texas A&M, which we'll have plenty of coverage on this week. I'm sure you guys touched on it a lot last night as well. But
yeah,
I'll be headed out to Memphis. I'm super excited.
Yeah.
First time flying for a DN trip. So I've done a lot of driving. First time flying.
Driving?
We're not driving to Memphis.
Why not, Joseph? Why not, Joseph?
Because 10.5 hours in the car doesn't sound like a great plan after I just spent like 45 hours in the car over spring break. So
I agree.
But excited for that. We'll have all your coverage on the DN site, live from Memphis.
Yeah.
So it could be a whole weekend affair.
Yeah.
But it could also just be one night.
So you're going to be able to watch all the games.
I'm going to be able to watch all of them. There's some pretty good ones. New Mexico Clemson is what I'm really excited for. I think New Mexico is going to win that one.
Yep.
Baylor Colgate as well. Colgate's a fun team. I think Baylor will get that done. And then Houston Longwood. What if it's 116? Another 16 seed takes down a 1 seed, and they get Nebraska in the second round.
See, I don't care if a 16 seed beats a 1 seed for the next 3 years. I'm still never going to pick a 16 seed.
You're right.
I don't care. Because if you do it,
because if you do it and they win, then you
just look stupid.
Then your bracket is done for.
You just look stupid. Because then the 1 seed's probably gonna.
Now, I had an interesting quandary that I wanted to ask you. Would you rather correctly pick the national championship in your bracket and win, or get every single first round game right?
I would rather get every single first round game right.
And even if you don't win your bracket.
Do you know how cool that'd be?
Exactly. That's my point.
Do you know how hard it is to do that?
Oh yeah. And the hope you would have going into the next day.
It's been done. But
I'm sure it's been done.
I think there's somebody that was maybe 1 game away from getting all the first 2 rounds right. I think that was the quote.
Well, my bracket's perfect. So
I think mine is too. So Joseph, because we want to touch on Matt Rule.
Yeah, spring practice, pro day tomorrow.
Yeah,
excited for that.
Are we gonna get NCAA tournament talk in this show or not? I don't remember what we had on the schedule.
I mean, we can dive into it a little bit. I mean, we got plenty of time here. We got tomorrow and Thursday.
True.
We'll be able to dive deep into all the games on Thursday.
Okay, I just want to ask real quick. What's your what's your team that's gonna make an unexpected run? What's your team? Just gut team that you pick that you think's gonna make a big run. That's not
so
like a
here's my secret of the industry. I don't fill up my bracket until after the first 4 games are done.
Okay.
It's kind of just what I've always done. I don't like to do it Sunday, but I have been looking over it over the last couple of days. I don't know if it's under the radar though. I think a lot of people are picking New Mexico to go far. I think New Mexico is going to have a time. I think New Mexico is going to make it to the Sweet 16.
Do you have anybody under the radar making like Elite 8?
Under the radar in terms of how low of a seed are we talking? Like Elite 8,
like 5 or lower. Do you have anyone 5 or lower in the Elite 8?
I don't think so. Mm-hmm. I think Creighton is my big.
That's your big pick.
Big pick to the Final Four.
They're like a dark horse.
Yeah. It's just so hard because a lot of teams I like get matched up with 1 seeds in the second round.
See, Yeah, like Nebraska.
Even Texas A&M. I think Texas A&M could knock off you. I think either of those teams could knock off Houston, but will they? No.
I think Texas A&M would have a better chance at knocking Houston off than Nebraska. If I'm
I
being
like
honest.
Grand Canyon. Grand Canyon. If I had to pick
See,
a double-digit seed to go to Sweet 16 or farther, I'd pick Grand Canyon.
okay, so Joseph, this is awkward because my team I have in Final Four that I don't know if I'm gonna walk it in. I have St. Mary's Final Four.
All right.
I kind of want to walk it in. That's what I have right now in this iteration.
St. Mary's the Final Four. So they'd go Grand Canyon, Alabama, Charleston, which is definitely doable. I think they would win. I think whoever wins the St. Mary's Grand Canyon game will win in the second round.
Yeah.
And then you get North Carolina. I don't hate it. I don't hate it at all.
And then they get Arizona. I just feel
that region's really weak, which is why I like New Mexico a lot.
The reason I like St. Mary's is because, top 4 seeds: North Carolina, Arizona, Baylor, Alabama. What are all 4 of those teams have in common? Explosive offense, not very good defensively. For the most part, North Carolina's decent on defense. But I'm saying like a lot of especially Arizona, Baylor, Alabama, those are all just offensive powerhouses.
I just don't know. I don't know if I can trust St. Mary's, bro.
St. Mary's has been on a run. They won the ACC tournament.
The ACC? The WCC?
I'm pretty sure they beat Duke in North Carolina win ACC tournament.
St. Mary's?
Am I thinking of a different
St. Mary's
team?
is not in the ACC.
I'm thinking of a different team. Whatever. St. Mary's has been on a big run. I'm thinking of a different team. But anyways, St. Mary's been really hot recently, and they're a really good defensive team. And I feel like because all these top teams are like really good offensively, if St. Mary's walks in on defense, I feel like they can make it around.
I think you're reading in too much. You can't. The more you know about basketball, the worse you do in these brackets, man.
That is true.
I'm sorry. It's all vibes. I would love to. I would love to sit down and, look at the analytics and all that kind of stuff.
See, I don't really look at like analytics that much. I just kind of like, I kind of go with gut a little bit.
I had 2 girls beat like 10 guys in our bracket last year, and they never watched a lick of college basketball. And I said from that moment on, the more you know about college basketball, the worse you do in a bracket. It's just kind of the case. And it will be the same this year.
What's the ACC team I'm thinking of that beat North Carolina and Duke? Oh my God.
North Carolina State.
There it is. Okay.
NC State. They've won 5 in a row.
There it is. Okay. That's
5 in a row to win the ACC tournament. Beat Virginia on the buzzer beater.
I don't know why I was getting them and St. Mary's mixed up.
They're
really
an 11
weird.
seed.
But I know
they are facing, I forget the matchup.
Texas Tech. Pretty sure.
Texas Tech. Yep.
But anyway, St. Mary's has been on a pretty good run. And I don't know. It's just like, I just want to pick a random team to go far because I just think it's fun. I want to root for them. I don't know why.
That's a really random one.
I know. I like being
But
random.
is that even a 5 seed? Is that even like fun enough? Like,
yes, that's fun enough.
I don't know.
See, I don't want to be too fun. The most fun I got.
I want to get fun with it. I want Grand Canyon Charleston in the second round.
The most fun I got was Washington State Elite 8. Because I have them. I have them
losing in the first round. So.
See, okay, their first round matchup against Drake. That's gonna be fun. I'll give you
once I'm in Memphis and I have my NCAA tournament bracket mind on. I'll give you my Final Four.
Okay,
who's your Final Four?
So right now, my Final Four is UConn, St. Mary's, Houston, Tennessee.
Okay.
But the Tennessee pick is the one. Like, I honestly feel more confident in the St. Mary's one than this Tennessee pick.
I think whoever beats whoever wins Creighton, Tennessee in the Sweet 16 is a Final Four team. I just don't see Purdue going that far, and I don't think Kansas or Gonzaga is a team to take them down.
It's just like Tennessee is just such a team though that like they just always underperform.
So does Purdue.
I know, but like Creighton doesn't. That's why I'm just like I'm wanting to pick Creighton, but I just feel like Tennessee's too good.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my gut pick. But we need to.
Yeah. So we'll have plenty of NCAA coverage. I'll probably call into one of the shows later this week and give you my vibes on what's going on. I'm sure we're going to have some media availability and open practice, I believe, on Thursday with the team, which will be fun because it's pretty rare they give open practice to the public. And then games on Friday. So potentially another game on Sunday. Let's talk about Matt Rule's spring press conference. Had it on Monday. Very fascinating because it was already planned before Trev Albert's news broke. So we already knew Matt Rule was going to be talking.
Yeah.
We had planned we had to put the credential request in for spring practice, for pro days, which are unfortunately at 10 a.m. every day, which is super annoying as a college student. That's just my aside. It's kind of frustrating to schedule your schedule around press conferences because every J school class is at 9:30 in the morning, every single one. So it's a struggle. Anyway, that's my aside. So we already knew this was going to happen. Probably just talk about, how the quarterback's doing, how's the depth looking? How is, winter conditioning and mat drills going? What are you looking forward to spring practice?
Mm-hmm.
Last Wednesday, the Trev Alberts news breaks, which means immediately this whole press conference is Trev Alberts because this is Nebraska football. And for some reason, the athletic director drives more headlines than literally anything else in the state, which I don't think is the case many other places. It can't be. I don't believe that there's more than 10 places in the country where your athletic director leaving, even as an alumni, is that big of news.
I don't know, man. I mean, I think it's the fact that he's alumni and he's just and he signed the extension and he's just been a prominent name.
It was like everything's going right. I think that's why it was so shocking.
I think it was more shocking than anything.
I don't know if the casual fan at most schools is that familiar with their athletic director's history. I think Nebraska fans, and again, it's because he's an alumni, but they are so in tune with. I mean, I don't have the experience yet. I'd have to wait and see when I'm older, but
I think it's because everyone knows everything about Nebraska. Nebraska fans know everything.
Because there's no professional sports.
Yes.
It dominates the media market. And people were saying, I saw Iowa fans on Twitter like, oh, you're not as relevant as you think you are. But then you have Iowa fans talking about Trev Alberts. Like, why? I don't even know who the Iowa athletic director is.
Who cares?
Exactly. And I don't think Texas A&M fans really care about this, to be honest.
No, they really
I saw
don't.
some of them that didn't even want him. They were like 3 years at Nebraska. He was at You got to think about this way. UNO to Texas A&M in that short amount of time. The secondary school in the state to literally the most enrolled school in the country. And that breaks last week, and Matt Rule has got to stand up there at the press conference on Monday like, well, I'm kind of the face of Nebraska athletics now.
Yeah. I mean, Matt, he really is.
And he killed it, dude.
He did.
It was one of the most impressive press conferences, just in terms of spitting. Like, we know he can talk. Like, we know Matt Rule can talk. There is no question about whether he can ramble.
He can say stuff without actually saying
and
something.
Get on the pulpit. And that's exactly right. But he actually said a ton.
Yeah.
And it wasn't this sort of pandering to the fan base that I thought maybe we would get of like, I love Nebraska, blah, blah, blah. He brought names, dude. Like, he brought he brought evidence to back it up. Like, he hits us with my family's putting down roots. Like, I'm here. His son's coming here. His wife's starting a business. His daughters are all of their idols are Nebraska volleyball and Nebraska women's basketball players. And how they look up to UNO women's athletes, and how he's excited to have his son come here finally, and how his wife's loving the community and wanting to open her business here. He's like, why would I do that if I'm leaving? Which, to be fair,
I think Husker fans are just because there was no evidence Trev Alberts was going to leave. There was nothing.
Right. And I'm sure there was evidence behind the scenes. I'm sure.
Okay, but there was nothing.
It is a complete shock.
Was it? I don't remember if it was the Purdue game or the Wisconsin game or both. I know at least one of those games. He was on the court right next to Matt Rule, storming the court.
He was talking to Dylan Raiola on the sideline a month ago.
He was all in on Nebraska,
which
he signed a contract.
And I was going to touch on this in a second. Tomorrow, they're announcing the new, their top candidate for university president, unless they found that candidate in a week, which I don't think is likely at all. Sounds like they already knew this person was going to be the top candidate, and Alberts wasn't a huge fan.
I hope. I mean,
but again, I just don't think that's a reason to do what he did.
Okay. I don't think it was Alberts. I feel like it was maybe the president saying, I don't want Alberts.
No, there's no way. No.
Why?
Because he's done everything right. He's done everything right.
So?
Done everything right. You can't.
I'm not saying he hasn't done stuff right.
As a new incoming president, there is no chance they would look at Trev and be like, I don't want him. And I'm going to intentionally make this relationship go sour, where he wants to go to the biggest school in the country with the most money in the country. But I think the Alberts news, like it's gone over its thing. I think now is the time to look at the head coaches. Fred Hoiberg gets an extension today. Sounds like an extension for Amy Williams is on the way. It was also in that presser. But Matt Rule, he might have come here because of Carter and Alberts. That might have what got him to draw here. That's not why he's still here. That's not why he's still here. He has, over the last 2 years, become addicted to Nebraska.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he has fallen in love with this university, and it's very easy to tell. We don't get to hear from Trev Alberts every week.
No.
He can kind of craft his statements a little bit better. And so I'm sure there was a little bit of crafting his statements, shaping a narrative, even if he wasn't the happiest over the last few months. Matt Rule, we hear from all the time, and he makes it known. He goes on radio shows. He does national interviews. He goes on podcasts, and he does a ton of press conferences. He is enthralled with the idea of bringing Husker football back to that promised land that so many Husker fans want to see him. He's a builder. He's a grinder. We know this about him. Hasn't had the success yet, so I don't think you're worried about him going anywhere. I don't think he cares who his boss is at this point. I don't think he does.
I mean, he cares a little bit.
I'm sure he cares, but I think he trusts the university to put someone in there that's at least competent, and he can make that work. The only thing I'd be worried about is if Penn State somehow falls off the rails, Franklin gets fired, Matt Rule, that is the only job I could see him taking, is going back to his alma mater and coaching at Penn State. And I would understand because it's alma mater. Like, I would have to be like, you know what? Alma mater, you go there, whatever. So if you're a Husker fan, you got to start cheering for Penn State over the next couple of years. That's all I'm saying. Because if Franklin doesn't get fired, I don't think Matt Rule's going anywhere. And I don't even know if he would go to Penn State if the job.
I don't think he would either.
If the job was open.
This is how Matt Rule's going to be here until the bitter end. And
unless he gets fired.
Unless
Nebraska wins less than 6 games over the next 3 years and the new AD is like,
that's not going to happen.
I think Trev Alberts' only hire was Matt Rule.
Yeah. Well, he got the Scott Frost fire.
Yeah. So restructured a couple contracts.
See, I brought this up yesterday on the show. I want to bring it up to you. I am not a fan of how Husker fans have villainized Trev Alberts so much. I'm not a fan.
Why?
Because yes, it was kind of an ugly breakup a little bit, but like he did
a little bit. If you told someone you loved them and then 3 months later you left them for a new shiny toy,
it could have been a lot worse.
Okay. I don't know if it could be worse from an athletic director.
Okay. That's beside my point.
I'm sure there's reasons. I'm sure there's very understandable reasons for him to go.
He left.
He's going to an incredible school where he will be able to do anything he wants with that oil money. Like,
yeah,
he will be able to build 10 memorial stadiums with that oil money if he really wants to. I just don't know if it's the right move. He fails there, he's gone in 5 years. I'm sorry, he is. They don't have the same patience that Nebraska does here.
Patience is a virtue. But what I wanted to bring up was he left Nebraska better than he came in with it. Nebraska's better off right now than when Trev Alberts came here.
Yes, I agree with you.
And I just don't like when I've
so if Matt Rule left tomorrow, we would say, okay, it was better than when he got here.
That's different.
Is it?
Yes.
If Matt Rule left for Penn State tomorrow, after saying how much he loves the university on Monday, would it be a betrayal? Well, he left it better than he let, greener pastures, whatever, move on, blah, blah, blah.
I blame Nebraska more than Trev Alberts, to be honest, for him.
I think time's going to tell on that one. I feel like Nebraska kind of pushed him out because just everything he did said he wanted to stay. And I feel like he left not. I agree with you, but something changed since he signed that extension. You don't sign an extension and then 3 months later have that same idea and still want to leave. Something happened over the last 3 months, whether that was a disagreeable in the athletic department, in the university, didn't like the new hire, but there's no chance that Nebraska didn't want to keep him around because he did.
You say zero chance.
But you just said it yourself. He left it better than he found it.
He did.
So why would
I'm
they
not saying-
ever want to push him out the door?
I'm not saying that Husker fans should be happy that he left. I'm just saying people are putting him in the same class as Scott Frost, and I just hate that. I hate that.
Well, I think it's worse than Scott Frost.
Really?
Scott Frost did all he could. He tried.
I laugh at that.
I mean, what do you mean? He tried. It just it didn't work out. Obviously, there's off the field stuff, but that doesn't. I mean, has nothing to do with the football stuff. He just wasn't that good of a coach. He just wasn't a Big Ten coach. And I think Nebraska. Scott Frost is one of those things. It's like same with like Juwan Howard that we saw this week. It's like you move on. Sad that it didn't work out. Still a Husker legend. You still respect him. Trev Alberts is never getting welcome back to this university. Never. I would bet that in 30 years, if Scott Frost wants to come back, much like Frank Solich did, I think he would be welcome back. Trev Alberts will never, ever be welcome back. Never.
But what I'm saying is Trev Alberts did more for the athletic administration, like did more for Husker athletics than Scott Frost ever did.
Okay, yes.
And I just don't like how people are acting like he just like did nothing. Like volleyball day happened.
No, I don't think people, if people are saying he did nothing, he did a ton of things. He put together volleyball day. He has kind of, he restructured Hoiberg's contract. He brought in Rule. He had this plan for the stadium. All great things. I think he did an incredible job while he was here. You don't leave like that from your alma mater to a school that, sure, it's an upgrade monetarily wise. It is not an upgrade job security wise, or like you don't know what you're going to do there. I get it. I would get it if he's going like, okay, if Matt Rule got a job offer at Alabama and he went there, I'd be like, that's a better job. I don't know if Texas A&M's a better job. I really don't.
I don't know.
If he's fired in 5 years, he's going to look back and say, I ruined a relationship with a university that I could have stayed in good. I just don't think I don't think he realized how much this backlash was going to be. Based on the tweets and stuff and the tone of his email, I don't think he expected Husker fans to want to take his name off the stadium, which I think is a little far for that.
I'm just like, I don't know.
I think some people definitely overreacted.
I'm not that mad about it because it's just, honestly, if everyone just looks back, it's really not that big of a deal, in my opinion, that Trev Alberts is leaving.
No.
Nebraska.
If you bring in someone competent.
Nebraska.
And you keep Matt Rule and you keep Fred Hoiberg. And you keep, the rest of the coaches that have
building
this program.
I thank Trev Alberts for bringing in Matt Rule. I thank you for bringing in Fred Hoiberg.
Well, he didn't bring in Fred Hoiberg, but he restructured Fred Hoiberg.
Restructured
Moose
it,
brought in
whatever.
Hoiberg.
I forgot that, yes. Hoiberg, yeah, he's been here for that long. See, isn't that crazy?
And we forget about the 7-win seasons because
but still,
people are patient in Nebraska.
I'm just
Texas A&M, you don't last 2 7-win seasons and then 2 losing seasons and then still get another year. You're gone.
I would be mad if Trev Alberts left UNL Athletics in a bad spot. Nebraska Athletics are in a good spot, and yes, it's disappointing he left, but like
time will tell.
Everyone's just overreacting to it, in my opinion.
I agree.
And I just don't think it's just really not that big of a deal.
I don't think it's a big of a deal, but I still think Husker fans have the right to feel betrayed. Okay. But if Matt Rule stays, who cares?
I'm over it already.
If they win 8 games, in football this season, no one's going to care about that.
I just hate.
If they beat Texas A&M on Friday, no one's going to care.
See,
but it is a storyline.
Everyone is going to. I just hope this basketball game for men's and women's is not about Trev Alberts.
It will be.
And that's the only thing that I'm mad about is that Nebraska is playing Texas A&M, and I blame the committee about that. I don't blame Trev Alberts about that. I blame the committee.
I don't know. If you look into it, there's not. If they were going to put number 8 and 9 Nebraska and Texas A&M, there's not a ton they could do because of Northwestern and Michigan State also being 9 seeds.
True.
So they would have had to match up Nebraska and TCU, and then put Texas A&M with Utah State. But I don't know. You could say they intentionally did it. It's going to be the storyline. Nebraska needs to win that game, regardless of who the opponent is.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, we need to throw it to break. When we come back, we're going to get some NFL free agency talk because the news kind of dwindled down a little bit, but a lot happened. It was an action-packed NFL.
Some of us
free
lost our
agency.
entire childhood.
It's going to be okay, Joseph. It's going to be okay.
We'll get to that.
We'll be right back to the Daily Nebraskan Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Be a memory for your grandchildren. Among Nebraska adults age 65 or older, 47% report current alcohol use. Drinking too much can cause harm to children, family members, and loved ones. By drinking less, you will still be around for your grandchildren. If you or a loved one is looking for help, find a treatment facility near you at findtreatment.gov. For immediate support, call, text, or chat 988.
Brought to you by Nebraska DHHS in partnership with SAMHSA.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels and Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels and Joe.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it twice a day.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it in the morning and before dinner.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it, and share it with my doctor. Nearly 1 in 2 U.S. adults have high blood pressure. That's why it's important to self-monitor your blood pressure in 4 easy-to-remember steps. It starts with a monitor.
Now that I know my blood pressure numbers, I talked with my doctor. We're getting those numbers down.
Get it, slip it, cuff it, check it. Talk to doctor now and share it.
Be next to talk to your doctor about your blood pressure numbers. Get down with your blood pressure. Self-monitoring is power. Learn more at manageyourbp.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council, the American Heart Association, and the American Medical Association, in partnership with the Office of Minority Health and Health Resources and Services Administration.
School tells you all about the 4 seasons: spring, summer, and so on. And then there's a way we really tell what time of year it is. Sports seasons, football season, baseball season, or even off season. Well, what's the chocolate season? Well, it's now, of course. And now, and always. Whether you're looking for a caffeinated pick-me-up on the way to work, a little snack on the way home, or you need the perfect gift that's sure to be appreciated, it's time for the chocolate season, y'all. 40th and Old Cheney, or order ahead at thechocolatseason.com. See you there.
Life is all about balance, so how about a little sweet and a little heat to make your week? At Wings & Rings, we're introducing our all-new Hot Honey menu for the month of March. Try our one-of-a-kind house-made sauce on the brand-new Hot Honey chicken sandwich or our Hot Honey shrimp and slaw. And of course, you can get it on the traditional boneless or smoked wings that have made Wings & Rings your go-to neighborhood spot. But don't wait, Hot Honey is only here until April 1st. So stop by Wings & Rings at one of our 2 Lincoln locations today, on O Street and on Village Lane.
1 in 3 adults has prediabetes. 1 in 3. That means it could be you, your football buddy, your football buddy, or you, your best man, your worst man, you, your dog walker, your cat jogger. While 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes, with early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org. That's doihaveprediabetes.org.
Wait, did they just say 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes? That's 33.33333% of adults. That means it could be me, my boss, or my boss's boss, or me, my favorite sister, or my other sister. That's 7 members of my 21-person romantic book club. Wait, the 1 in 3 could be me, my karaoke partner Carol, or my karaoke enemy Jeff. I'm going to take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
Back to the Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hello and welcome back into the Daily Nebraskan Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Ben and Joseph still with you on this Tuesday night. You leave for Memphis tomorrow, right, Joseph?
I do. 9 a.m. heading to Omaha
9
Airport.
a.m.
Flying to Atlanta.
Hopefully you
layover in Atlanta, then Memphis.
Hopefully you get enough sleep.
I will.
After the show ends at midnight.
I will get plenty of sleep.
And
I usually got class at 9:30, so I'm up at 9 anyway.
All right. Sounds good to me.
Yeah, I do still have to pack tonight.
But you haven't packed before the show, Joseph?
No, I haven't. I'm one of those guys that likes to pack the night before. I have kind of an issue.
Same. No, I'm the same.
Speaking of Atlanta, which I will be having a layover in tomorrow, Atlanta Falcons brought in a big name.
Huge.
A aging quarterback coming off a torn Achilles. No, it's not the New York Jets. It's the Atlanta Falcons with Kirk Cousins. What do you think, Ben? We're gonna go into some of these big names, and I want to get your thoughts because we haven't really talked about this yet.
So, as a fantasy football fan, I love it because Kyle Pitts and Drake London are finally gonna do good. It's gonna happen. At least Kyle Pitts.
I had both of them on my fantasy team last year because I auto-drafted, not because I willingly put 2 Falcons on. I actually had 4 Falcons on my fantasy team because I actually auto-drafted.
How dare you?
Those 2, Tyler Algier, and who else did I have? Desmond Ridder as my backup quarterback. It was the worst fantasy year I've ever had. Don't auto-draft, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, like you were saying.
So the fantasy fan in me loves this because I feel like Kirk Cousins is going to make this an actually decent offense.
It's going to be a good enough offense to make a splash and be fun to watch and lose in the first round of the NFL playoffs or miss out on the wild card round by 1 game.
Which
they're going to finish 9 and 8 now or 10-7.
I don't know, man. This is giving me like this Falcons roster, not the quarterback. I'm saying just the roster gives me vibes of like the Texans roster a little bit. I feel like
I think it gives me vibes of the Rams roster because you have a defensive-minded head coach. I'm not talking about the Rams with
Sean McVay.
Just because they have Raheem Morris as their head coach. That's a tough one.
Yeah.
He comes over from the Rams. You got a, studly defense built in the works. A lot of talented offensive players. I think aging veteran quarterback.
Okay. But the Rams roster was old. Now that Aaron Donald's gone, I guess that makes more sense.
Yeah, it was like 3 years ago at this point. It's not a perfect. I'm just thinking aging veteran that's been at it, that's had regular season stat success, but never playoff success.
Okay. So I think this, the fantasy fan in me loves this. I think it's honestly, I'm okay with it. The Falcons have been mediocre for so long and they want to get in the playoffs and they saw a chance to win the NFC South and they're going to win it. And I'm okay with it.
I like the Bucks.
But Kirk Cousins is better than Baker Mayfield.
I would agree. I love Kirk Cousins. I'm not sure about that injury. I'm not. I don't know, man. As the Minnesota in me, it just feels wrong. It feels wrong. He's a Minnesota guy. He goes to Kohl's. He wears plaid. He, is a family guy, sits in the, by the campfire at night. Like that quarterback documentary just felt Minnesota to you. He just felt like a Minnesota guy. Very different culture than Atlanta. And I think he will do well in there. He just feels like a Minnesota guy. And it really sucks to see them move on.
It was time too, though. It was time. They had to move on. There was too much. It had been too long. The Vikings haven't done anything since he got there.
It just felt like it was so close with this year.
Was it though?
I think they were not a Super Bowl team.
Last year they were close. Like 2 years.
Yeah.
Not this last year, the year before that.
I just thought that bringing everything back, it started to click a little bit. But maybe it was just that 1 year, and that year was so fun though. Like just such a fun season, and I think he'll do great in Atlanta. People are saying they're NFC Championship contender. They're not. And I'm sorry.
No, they're not. They're not that. But
it's still Kirk Cousins, and I love the guy, and I root for him. But he's just not He's just not a Super Bowl winning quarterback.
I think if you give him a really good roster, he is. I think. Okay, let's go back. When the Rams made it to the Super Bowl with Jared Goff, was Jared Goff that year better than Kirk Cousins was with the Vikings?
Well, that year, yes. But overall, no. That year, they had an insane offense because
didn't
Todd
show it in
Gurley-
the Super Bowl.
It did not show in the Super Bowl. I just think Kirk Cousins is one of those guys that everyone loves, has regular season success. Honestly, a little Phillip Rivers. A little Phillip Rivers, and I love Phillip Rivers.
Maybe that's why you like him so much.
But it's fan favorite quarterback, great guy, family dude. Just not a playoff quarterback, and it's just the case, and it sucks.
They're gonna win the end. Baby steps. It's baby steps.
Oh, for the Falcons, it's a great move because you can't get any worse.
But
you've been putting out Desmond Ridder out there and Taylor Heineke.
He did. Where else was he gonna go? The Steelers.
I just wanted the Vikings to keep him and keep him around.
It wasn't gonna happen. We got to go on the other.
Speaking
moves.
of my fan favorite players, so I was in Florida trying to enjoy my night, and my buddy goes, "Hey, Keenan Allen to the Bears for a 4th round pick." I said, "Ha, that's funny. We're under the cap." We had cut Mike Williams, which was really sad.
Necessary.
Very necessary. He's very injury prone and has really not done much for us, to be honest. But I love the guy. Restructure with Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack. I'm like, good to go. We're good to keep Keenan for another 1 to 2 years. You know, Herbert's favorite target. Go draft Malik Neighbors if he's there. Draft Rome Odunze. If Marvin Harrison Jr., MHJ. I always want to say MJH. MHJ is there.
It's MJ.
Yeah. If he's there, you take him, and you have one heck of a receiver room. And then I hear that, and I'm like, oh, my goodness. And it really hurt because Keenan Allen was one of my favorite players growing up. And it just, again, I talked about this last time we talked about the Chargers. You let these guys walk out the door for nothing, and they didn't have any playoff success.
I think, though, that the Chargers did right by him by letting him go because the Chargers know that they're not going to be competing this upcoming year or the year after, probably. This is a team that's looking to compete in 3 to 4 years.
Here's my hot take. I guarantee you the Chargers win more games than the Bears this next season. I guarantee it.
Probably. But still.
And I think he only has 1 or 2 good. He did not seem happy. I've watched Keenan Allen for a decade. The videos he has been that man is 32 years old. Do you think he wants to go from playing in sunny LA to Chicago?
That is true. I mean,
as with Matt Eberflus as his coach,
I just think that.
And at the time, Justin Fields is a quarterback. That'll change. Now it's changed.
I don't know, man. I think Chicago's intriguing.
Oh, very intriguing. I think they're on the up for sure. But I think it might be after Keenan Allen's gone. I think he might be a bridge guy.
And the Bears know they need success right now. And Keenan Allen's going to come in, and he's going to be the top wide receiver for Caleb Williams. And
I don't know if he'll be top.
What do you mean? What are the receiver on the
DJ
Bears?
Moore's, I think, just a little bit. He's just more of a deep threat. Keenan Allen is a shifty wide receiver, but he's not going to burn defenses at 32 years old. So
no, he's like a bigger body for like 3rd downs.
Oh, great in the slot. Great slot receiver, and I love him.
I guess.
I just feel bad for him because
whatever. It'll be
this
1A,
means
1B.
he's never winning a Super Bowl. This move means he's not winning a Super Bowl.
He wasn't winning a Super Bowl with the Chargers, Joseph.
I know, but I would have loved to see him win a Super Bowl with the Chargers.
But he wasn't going to.
Exactly.
Okay. You have too much of a heart in this.
I do.
This one. We need to move on.
Justin Fields, Russell Wilson to the Steelers. What do you think?
Mid. I wanted the Justin Fields move.
But do the Steelers need more than mid? Because they've had nothing.
Okay.
Kenny Pickett was a terrible pick.
See,
Mitch Trubisky.
So
and Mason Rudolph were the better quarterbacks this season. I'm sorry.
I agree. I was okay with the Russell Wilson move, and then when the Justin Fields trade was announced, I was like, "Why in God's green earth is Russell Wilson on this team anymore? Why would
mentor?
But why would he start week 1? He is not a better quarterback than Justin Fields. I don't care. Russell Wilson's not a better quarterback than Justin Fields. He's older than Justin Fields. The only thing that Russell Wilson has more than Justin Fields is experience. He's
Super Bowl victories.
Not because of him.
And they love those up in Pittsburgh.
Not because of him.
I didn't even talk to some Steeler fans how they feel on this. Because
they're pretty stoked.
I think Justin Fields is a great dude. I don't think he's a good quarterback. I'm sorry. I don't think he's a good. I think he's a great playmaker. I don't think he's a great quarterback. He had, let's be honest. Yeah, okay, it's a bad situation. There's worse. CJ Stroud stepped into a terrible situation in Houston and went to the playoffs and won a playoff game in his first season. Okay? Throwing to Tank Dell, who no one knew before the season. And wide receivers are only good as their quarterback makes them. And you got Nico Collins, who is a Michigan wide receiver. And usually when you want a wide receiver, they're coming from Ohio State, not Michigan.
Yeah.
So I get he's been in a bad situation. But the fact that Bears fans are sad about this, I don't understand at all. Bears fans have gaslighted themselves into thinking that do they not want to win a Super Bowl? Did they think how many years are you going to give the guy?
I hated the move for the Bears. I'm going to be honest. I would have rather them kept Justin Fields.
Oh my God, I completely disagree.
I would have rather them kept Justin Fields. I think he.
Would you rather have Tua or Caleb Williams right now, as a Dolphins fan? Go.
What they're trying to win right now, so Tua.
Okay.
Their roster
Tua's
is
done
right now
way more than Justin Fields has. And I'm not even the biggest Tua guy. Way more than Justin Fields.
He also has Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. And a pretty good defense and a pretty good offensive-minded coach. The coach is what people overestimate.
Then fire your coach. They didn't. They kept Eberflus around. I'm sorry. I don't think Justin Fields is that good. I think he'll be great for the Steelers. You need just a guy. You don't need much in Pittsburgh. You just need a guy that can score 2 touchdowns a game, and you're going to win 10 games.
This is why I love the move, because he's a playmaker. Justin Fields
I like the move for this. I like the move for both teams, to be honest.
I hate the Bears. I'm just like,
you cannot pass on a potentially generational talent.
Whatever.
He is a generational talent.
Everyone said Trevor Lawrence was generational, and I ain't seen him do anything in Jacksonville. And he's had way more.
He's won a playoff game.
I don't.
It's more
care.
than Tua.
That was a low blow. It's a low blow.
Trevor Lawrence is a generational talent, and Caleb Williams is a generational talent. Will he be a generational success in the league? No. He is a generational talent. And generations are pretty small nowadays. But of the last couple years, he is the most talented player to come out of the draft.
It's just such a bad use of resources, though.
I completely disagree. They can get another wide receiver in the draft. Like, you trade down and you put your eggs in the Justin Fields basket, and if it doesn't work out, you don't have a number 1 pick anymore. You use your number 1 pick while you got it. That's my thought.
When Caleb Williams crashes and burns because it's the Bears,
I just think
I'm going to bring this video.
I think people, I don't know why people don't think Caleb Williams is a great player, because he had a bad defense and he paints his fingernails. He's an incredible talent. He's a little raw. So is Patrick Mahomes. But he's less raw than Mahomes was coming out of college. I don't know.
Patrick Mahomes is that's a once in a lifetime
It is
thing.
But
you better not be comparing him to Patrick Mahomes.
I'm not comparing. Well, there are certainly comparisons out there. I won't do it. But
do you have any more free agency news? Because we need to.
We got plenty of time over the next couple of weeks to talk more.
All right, we got to throw it to break. You're listening to the Daily Nebraskan Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket.
Okay, playing 93.7 The Ticket.
Alexa, turn down the lights.
Dimming the lights.
Alexa, order a pizza, the big one, all the toppings.
Are you sure that's a good idea?
Alexa.
That's a lot of pizza for just one man.
Alexa, just do it. Stop judging me, just do it.
As you wish.
Thanks, Alexa. You're my best friend.
Go Hog Wild Pit Barbecue.
Pre-order your Hog Wild slow-smoked Easter ham today. Hog Wild selects the highest quality whole ham and slow smokes them until they're tender and delicious. Our 100% boneless ham is approximately 4 pounds and $50. Pre-order online at GoHogWild.com. Quantities are limited. Hog Wild Pit Barbecue, 3210 Cornhusker Highway in Lincoln.
But don't be late, we close at 8.
At Allo, we believe in the exceptional. From extraordinary whole home coverage to super fast speeds, our local teams are always on hand to make sure your service is running at top performance. Let go of lag, banish buffering, and enjoy outstanding service throughout your entire home. We believe in delivering nothing less than exceptional service, so that's exactly what we do. Visit us at allofiber.com to experience the exceptional.
If you came across someone struggling with hunger, how would you recognize them? By their clothes, their age, the way they speak? Would you notice a 16-year-old boy who got his first job,
not for extra spending money, but to help feed his little sisters?
or a mother who's in between jobs and sometimes goes to bed hungry so her kids can have dinner? Or a 14-year-old girl who signs up to every after-school activity, not to make friends, but just to get something to eat? Or a retiree who fell ill and had to choose
between getting medicine or groceries.
I am the 1 in 8 Americans who struggle with hunger. People you pass by every day but never knew were hungry. I am hunger in America.
Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at IamHungerInAmerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America, 200 Food Banks Strong, and the Ad Council.
At Union Bank, people don't have your money. Your money has people. First home people, investment people, people who answer the phone and your chats, dream car people, dream retirement people, driving your dream car in your dream retirement people, small business people, credit card people, and all the other people you need. At Union Bank, our people help you do more than you dreamed possible. So stop in and say hello. We can't wait to see you. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Nutrition Authority presents Activator. University studies have shown that Activator helps with building muscle and strength while decreasing body fat. Activator is for male and females of all ages who want to look, feel, and perform their best. Activator can only be found in Nutrition Authority. Stop in, call, or visit us at mynutritionauthority.com.
Okay, kids, Dad's gonna teach you how to dance. First, spread your feet apart. Then, pump your knee, nod your head, shake your hips, and bite your lip ever so slightly. Now, with one hand in the air, point at people with the other hand. I call that the rock star.
Dance like a dad. It's a great way to make a moment with your kids.
Now, make a face like it just smells something bad.
Visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Hi, it's Joel Norman, the voice of your Lincoln Stars hockey team. Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket every Tuesday night from 8 to 9 p.m. to hear the latest on the Stars with myself, head coach Rocky Russo, and special player guests.
Back to The Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hello and welcome back into the Daily Nebraskan show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. One last segment, super quick segment because we went pretty long on the first and second segments.
We could talk about NFL free agency all day. But in other NFL news today, the receiver show. So we had the quarterback show last summer, which was a massive hit. One of my favorite NFL. I don't usually love sports shows. I think they're just too cliche. The access they got was awesome.
Oh, yeah.
And I fell in love with Kirk Cousins. I realized that I hated Patrick Mahomes even more than I already did. And I realized Marcus Mariota is one of the most boring people I've ever
Why did
watched.
they pick Okay, first of all, why did they pick
I don't know if they just couldn't get anyone else or they wanted like a superstar, middling. I wouldn't say mid, but just middling, trying to improve in the world, and then a potential backup. I don't know, but they didn't go that route this season. They had some of the biggest stars in the league with Devontae Adams, Justin Jefferson, George Kittle, Deebo Samuel, and Amon-Ra St. Brown. Who are you most excited out of that group to watch?
Where's Tyreek?
Oh, please.
No, where's Tyreek?
He's too busy with his house on fire to do the show. We wouldn't want to see that show. George Kittle for me. George Kittle.
But he's not even a wide receiver.
It's not called wide receiver. It's called receiver. Tight ends are receivers.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are.
They're tight ends.
They're receivers.
Especially George Kittle. He is a blocking tight end.
You throw the ball, and he catches it. He received it. A running back could be a receiver. We could have a running back show. But now this has opened my mind up to, let's do a kicker show. I want a kicker show, man.
No one's going to watch a kicker show. No one's going to
Come
watch
on, Justin Tucker?
I would want a running back show before that.
Cameron Dicker? Who's the Dolphins kicker?
Jason Sanders.
Jason Sanders.
The myth.
The legend.
The myth.
This will be fun because we're going to get Deebo Samuel and Amon-Ra in the same game in the and George Kittle in the
That
same
will be-
game
yeah, I'm excited about
in
it.
the NFC Championship.
Have they announced quarterback? Who's going to be on quarterback yet?
I don't
this
know if
upcoming
they're doing
season?
a quarterback this season.
There's no way they don't.
I think that's what they did this season. They did a receiver this season.
That's okay. That's what I don't like, because quarterback's way better than what receiver I feel like is going to be.
Well, we don't know.
I mean, quarterback would have been 10 out of 10 if it would have just been anybody but Marcus Mariota. I would have rather followed Kenny Pickett.
But also Patrick Mahomes and Kirk Cousins are probably two of the most interesting quarterbacks in the league. And then who else do you go? Like a lot of other I love Justin Herbert, would not be good on the show. Tua and Russell Wilson would just be like inspirational quote. Yeah, man, gotta help the team, win football games.
Aaron Rodgers
would be one heck of a show. He would never do it though. He'd be like, I'm not doing your show. He'd be like,
it might be because they're having such a hard time finding people. Because Matthew Stafford, I feel, could be pretty good on that too.
Yeah, I'd see like a Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, but
yeah,
we'll see. Maybe the ones in the works.
like
I doubt it's this year if they spent. I'm assuming it's the same crew and everything that did this, but I'm excited to watch this.
Like you have Joe Burrow instead of Patrick Mahomes, you have Matthew Stafford instead of Kirk Cousins, and you find anybody that's not Marcus Mariota, and you got a show.
Justin Fields.
But I would watch that. I want Justin Fields to say
they'd have to interview when he gets traded to Pittsburgh. He's like, well, I don't have to play in Chicago anymore. It's still cold, but it's not Chicago. Still a very blue collar.
I'm fantasizing about this. Justin Fields got screwed.
All right, we'll see. We got time.
When he was drafted by the Bears, I was so happy for Bears fans. I'm not a Bears fan, but I was happy for Bears fans because Justin Fields.
Well, you were wrong.
No, he was. I don't care. He's better than Jay Cutler ever was in the 3 years or 4 years he was on the Bears. Jay Cutler was awful.
All right.
This is why Bears fans loved him. They haven't had anybody.
They're going to have Caleb Williams, and he's going to rock.
I don't know. I think Chicago's just cursed for having good quarterbacks. They can't have a good quarterback.
They're going to. Caleb Williams is going to rock. I'm telling you. Call it now.
We'll see. Well, thank you for listening to the Daily Nebraskan Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. We'll be right back here tomorrow, same time, 11 to 12 on Wednesday. We'll probably get maybe Joseph to call in from Memphis tomorrow. So that'll be cool. Make sure to tune in the show tomorrow, 11 to 12. Other than that, we're out of here.
Peace.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Alcohol has strained our relationship. Drinking too much can cause harm to friends, family members, and loved ones. By drinking